Greetings. In this week's Music Notes, we continue the musical journey of Lent through part 2 of Handel's Messiah. We hear two recitative aria combinations that propel us forward in the story of the Passion of Christ. And both of these combinations were written for tenor, but they are equally accessible by soprano voices. And so in our service, we'll hear one of the pairs performed by tenor Rod Keene, and the second of the pair performed by soprano Ashlyn Hurd. Now, the recitative that begins the anthem is, again, as a reminder of what that form is, it's a short declamative statement set primarily to short chords or just sustained chords, not a lot of accompaniment underneath the voices or along with the singing, that kind of is more declamative in nature. Again, it's an idea to move the story forward. It's not something to expound on a theme or an idea. There's not a melody as you might imagine hearing one. So again, the anthem, the pairing for the anthem is the setting of "Thy rebuke hath broken his heart," followed by "Behold and see if there be any sorrow." For the recitative, it's a curious choice of text because we have this text from the Psalms, which is before the time of Christ, yet it's very clearly kind of pointing to the crucifixion and the story that would be coming. If you listen carefully in this short piece, you'll hear that it begins in one key or tonal center, A flat major, or A flat minor, excuse me, and then it moves up by half step to B minor at the end. So you'll kind of hear this, if you listen carefully, this kind of gradual rise in overall pitch center as we move from one area to the next. And German conductor and maestro Helmut Rilling once posited, as he was preparing this piece and conducting it at the Oregon Bach Festival, that this movement of a half step up might have been Handel's musical attempt to foreshadow Christ's victory over death. In the following aria, "Behold and see if there be any sorrow," this is a form of a musical lament, which happens to be set to a text from Lamentations. So there's that kind of literal connection in this particular piece. You can also sense the lament in the way that you'll hear Rod singing, "Behold and see, behold and see." There will be moments of silence. There will be rests in between the declamations that are made by the soloist, in a sense that there is almost a weeping going on, a mourning, a very distressed kind of approach to what's going on with this particular text, again, from Lamentations. For the offertory pairing, again, we have Ashlyn Hurd that will be singing these two short pieces. The recitative, "He was cut off out of the land of the living," is actually more closely connected to the two pieces that we heard Rod sing as part of the anthem. This is the last piece in the second part of Handel's Messiah that is dealing with the Passion story. After this, we kind of turn a page and look at something that is happening after the Passion. So it begins with kind of a softer ethos of Christ's descent into hell. You'll hear Ashlyn singing at a softer dynamic. He was cut off out of the land of the living. And then gradually she gets a little bit louder until she finally makes the final declamation that he was stricken. This crucifixion was a striking of what was going on in terms of the end of his life. And this declamation also kind of points to the fact that all of this occurred then for our salvation. It was a significant thing that happened, and it brought salvation for all of us. The last piece that we'll hear in Sunday worship, the aria, "But thou didst not leave his soul in hell," is an immediate transition away from the Passion story and into, again, a text from the Psalms, in this case, Psalm 16, verse 10. The mood of the music changes. You'll hear an audible shift, an aural shift from minor keys into a major key, into A major. You'll hear joyful rhythms immediately as Jonathan is playing in the keyboard part, and then when Ashlyn comes in to sing, you'll hear kind of a sense of effervescence and positivity again in the melodic lines that she's singing. And again, I think all of this is Handel attempting to make a really clear shift away from the Passion story and into the idea that all of our sorrows will be overcome because of the promise of life eternal. And all four of these pieces, coincidentally enough, are immediately follow. He trusted in God that he would deliver him, which was the chorus from last week's worship service. And you'll remember that that was a crowd of people taunting and teasing and mocking God, saying, "Well, why don't you save Christ? You are there. Why doesn't Christ ask you to save him? Why can't you take care of it?" So after that kind of mocking, we move again through these three short pieces, two performed by Rod, one sung by Ashlyn, that kind of conclude what was going on in the Passion story of Christ. And then we end our offertory on a positive note, again with the idea that because of all of this suffering, because of what Christ went through, all of us have the possibility and the future of eternal life because of the salvation offered to us.